Hello, I'm Dr. Mark Bartlett, Vice President of PharmaNex Research and Development. And today I want to talk to you about the science of the gut microbiome and digestive health. So what exactly do I mean when I say gut microbiome? Well, our gut microbiome is all of the trillions of microbes that live inside of our gut. The latest scientific papers estimate that there are about 38 trillion of these bacteria living inside of us. That's more bacteria than human cells in the entire body. And all these bacteria together compose our gut microbiome. A healthy microbiome supports good digestive health, but it doesn't stop there. When our microbiome is in good shape, our whole body can function much better overall. In other words, gut health impacts overall wellness, not just your gut. Our gut microbiome is composed of trillions of bacteria, and some of those bacteria are beneficial, and some are detrimental. A healthy microbiome maintains a good balance of these bacteria, making sure that we have enough of the beneficial ones and not too many of the detrimental ones. So it's important that we do what we can to help support a healthy microbiome. Now, unfortunately, there are many factors that can have a negative impact on this balance. Some of these factors are within our control, and others are not. Here are a few examples of factors that can disrupt the microbiome. Poor diet, antibiotics, which we take to kill harmful bacteria, but they ultimately end up killing many beneficial bacteria as well. Traveling and stress. These factors can all disrupt the balance of good and bad bacteria, tipping the scales in favor of the bad ones, and that is bad news for our bodies. Symptoms of poor digestion are very common, with one study of over 1,000 participants showing that 68% of the study participants reported experiencing bowel symptoms within the last 12 months. This includes things like bloating, gas, diarrhea, cramps, pain, constipation, and more. And it seems that women are particularly impacted by digestive discomfort, reporting higher prevalence of all of these symptoms compared with men. This is affecting our day-to-day lives, and it matters. Separate research finds that there's a connection between digestive symptoms and changes in the microbiome. In other words, symptoms of digestive discomfort can be an indicator of a disrupted microbiome. So what can we do? Well, one solution is through diet. We can get naturally occurring probiotics from fermented foods. Some of these foods are well known for probiotics, like yogurt or kombucha. That's another popular one. But others, like kimchi or sauerkraut, may not be regularly consumed. There are inherent limitations also to this solution. Lots of different factors affect the viability of probiotics, which is a measurement of how well the bacteria survive. These factors include the acidity of the product, or if there are other bacteria present competing for resources. How much oxygen has the product been exposed to, and how is it processed and stored? Maybe the food had probiotics when it was made, but a lot of them didn't survive to the point when you buy it off the shelf. And of course, are these products able to colonize in your gut to provide health benefits? Let me be clear, probiotics are great as an option if you pick the right one, but they do have some limitations, especially when it comes to long-term stability and ability to colonize in our digestive tract. In addition to probiotics, there are some other strategies we can turn to. We can naturally support a healthy microbiome with two other kinds of nutrients called prebiotics and postbiotics. I'll talk more about these in a minute. And of course, having a healthy, active lifestyle with regular exercise, eating a healthy diet rich in fruits and vegetables, reducing stress, and even getting a good night's sleep can all be beneficial in supporting a healthy balance of microflora. Prebiotics are nutrients that help the microbiome thrive, just like a fertilizer that helps plants grow. Prebiotics are fuel for the beneficial bacteria in our gut microbiome. Probiotics are living beneficial bacteria. They need to stay alive all the way through the digestive process to colonize in the lower digestive tract in order to have any health benefits, if the benefit is from the live bacteria itself. And postbiotics are a relatively new area of research. They are the beneficial substances produced by bacteria, and they can have health benefits regardless of whether the bacteria are still alive. This is important because scientists are now discovering that some of the benefits of probiotics might be from the compounds or the substances that it produces, not from the bacteria colonizing in the digestive tract itself. And we can get those benefits through supplementing with postbiotics, even if the bacteria are no longer alive. One of the challenges with prebiotics is that we just aren't getting enough of the foods that support our microbiome. Fiber is a great source of prebiotics, although not all fiber is actually prebiotic. That's because prebiotic fibers are specific subsets of fibers that are shown to shift the gut microbiome. Dietary sources of prebiotics include many fruits and vegetables, legumes, and whole grains like chicory root, bamboo, onions, garlic, and bananas, to name a few. However, it's difficult to estimate average intake of prebiotics, so instead we can look at fiber consumption. Since fiber is a great source of prebiotics, it gives us an idea of where we are at. Unfortunately, 95% of Americans do not get the recommended amounts of fiber, with average intakes being around 16 grams per day compared to the recommendation of 25 to 38 grams a day. Since people are not getting enough fiber, we can be pretty sure they're likely not getting enough prebiotics either. Now that we've covered some background on the gut microbiome, digestive health, and some nutrients that can support these areas of wellness, let's talk about some specific examples of ingredients and the science behind those ingredients. First, we'll talk about a prebiotic called XOS, or xylo-oligosaccharides. Then we'll cover a postbiotic called Bifidobacterium lactis BPL1, and then cover two complementary ingredients, caffeine for healthy energy and pomegranate for antioxidant support. XOS, short for xylo-oligosaccharide, is a unique prebiotic that's effective even at a very low dose. Some prebiotics are effective at higher doses like 5 to 10 grams, but XOS has been studied and shown to have digestive benefits at a dose of 2 grams or even less. This prebiotic selectively promotes beneficial bacteria in the gut and is well supported by many clinical studies. It's also well tolerated, likely due to the low effective dosage. This is important because a sudden increase in fiber intake can sometimes cause digestive upset, which is the exact opposite of trying to minimize or lessen these digestive complaints. Lastly, XOS is very stable and soluble, which allows it to be easily delivered in a variety of different formats. The net takeaway is that XOS is a prebiotic that fuels a healthy microbiome. It supports a healthy balance of good and bad bacteria and supports healthy digestion. Let's look at some of the clinical studies that have been done on XOS. This first study was conducted in 20 healthy subjects for 6 weeks. They were either given 1.2 grams of XOS or a placebo mixed into a rice porridge, and the researchers looked at the effect on gut microflora. What they found was that the XOS induced significant changes in the microbiome, including an increase in the good bacteria, like lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, and a decrease in bad bacteria, like Clostridium. This makes sense because there's only so much space in our gut for microbes to live. So if there's an increase in the good bacteria, then there's generally also a corresponding decrease in the bad bacteria. The second study I want to mention was done in 56 women, again for 6 weeks. The subjects either took sucrose, which is common table sugar, or sucrose mixed with 0.7 grams of XOS. The researchers evaluated the frequency of bowel movements, which improved from about 2 per week to about 4 per week after 6 weeks of XOS intake. This change represents a shift towards better digestive health, even with very small doses of XOS. Another similar study found that 1.4 grams of XOS helped to ease bowel movements, as measured by softer stool and easier evacuation, and a fourth study showed better digestive regularity with decreased diarrhea when taking 2 grams of XOS. One last study on XOS before we move on. In this study, 2 grams of XOS was given to subjects for 8 weeks. Researchers again found a shift in microflora with an increase in Bacteroidetes and decrease in Firmicutes. This higher ratio of Bacteroidetes and Firmicutes is linked with better health, and such a shift is generally considered to be very positive in research on the microbiome. And additionally, the XOS was very safe and well tolerated, with no adverse effects being reported. This is important because, again, we want to improve digestive health, not make it worse. So overall studies show that XOS can help support a healthy microbiome, ease digestive discomfort, and promote digestive regularity, all while being very well tolerated. And that's important because these factors can have an immediate impact on your day-to-day life. Let's shift gears a bit now and talk about postbiotics, specifically Bifidobacterium lactis BPL1, or we'll call it BPL1 for short. Postbiotics are the substances that are produced by bacteria and have a beneficial effect, even if the bacteria are no longer alive. This is a new cutting-edge area of research that is very exciting. The main advantage of a postbiotic over a living prebiotic is stability, which means we can provide postbiotics in a wider range of dietary and delivery formats, and they do not need refrigeration to maintain their efficacy. BPL1 is a postbiotic that was originally isolated from healthy humans and is backed by multiple published studies. The heat-treated postbiotic works just as well as the live bacteria, or the probiotic. In fact, some studies show that the heat-treated postbiotic is actually more effective than the live probiotic. BPL1 has an interesting story of how it was developed. Researchers used C. elegans, a worm animal model, to assess the effects of many different bacteria strains on lipids. BPL1 was compared against 23 lactobacillus strains and 15 bifidobacterium strains, and the results showed that BPL1 significantly reduced lipids and had the greatest reduction compared to all the other strains studied. This first study was done on the live bacteria, so researchers then repeated the experiments to see if the live BPL1 and heat-treated BPL1 had similar effects, and it turns out they did. So this established that BPL1 works as a postbiotic, and the bacteria do not need to be alive to provide the studied benefits. So this begs the question, what is the compound that provides this benefit? Researchers did another study on BPL1 to determine what the active compound was. In this study, they looked at the effects of glucose on C. elegans and then compared that to the effects seen when glucose was given with a positive control like BPL1, heat-treated BPL1, and a specific compound isolated from BPL1 called LTA, or lipoteicoic acid. And they found that the results for all these groups did in fact have very similar results, which confirmed that LTA, the active compound in BPL1, acts as a postbiotic, exerting the health benefits of this ingredient. Next up, let's talk about caffeine. Caffeine is one of the most commonly consumed ingredients for energy, and one of the ways it works is by acting on our central nervous system. Caffeine's well known to provide energy, and two areas of our body that use a lot of energy are our brain and muscles. So it's no surprise that this is where the main benefits of caffeine are seen. Studies on caffeine highlight the brain benefits of better attention, alertness, and focus, along with benefits associated with physical performance. In one study, done on 100 milligrams of caffeine, researchers had 24 well-trained cyclists do a 2.5-hour exercise test at 60% of their VO2 max, followed by cycling at 75% of their VO2 max to exhaustion. Caffeine significantly increased time to exhaustion, and it also increased complex cognitive ability during and after exercise. The last ingredient I want to talk about is pomegranate. Pomegranate is a fruit that has many naturally occurring antioxidants which help to combat free radicals and oxidative stress. This is a whole fruit pomegranate extract that undergoes a hot water extraction process to concentrate the antioxidants. It's standardized to greater than 30% punicalagins, which is a high concentration of polyphenol antioxidants that naturally occur in pomegranate. But what many people don't realize is there's a connection between the gut microflora and pomegranate. Certain pomegranate polyphenols can't be absorbed intact, but our gut microflora can break them down into smaller metabolites that are then absorbed into the body. Some preliminary research also suggests that pomegranate may impact the microbiome in shifting the balance of bacteria as well. So in summary then, these ingredients, XOS, BPL1, caffeine, and pomegranate, support a number of various benefits in our bodies. They can help support a healthy microbiome, healthy digestion, healthy energy, and antioxidant protection. That's all for today's training. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.